All right, let's talk about something that's been low-key haunting me for years. No, I'm not talking about the fear of accidentally liking someone's 2013 Instagram post while I've been checking out their profile. I'm talking about the societal expectation that we're all supposed to have this one unbreakable core friend group that lasts forever. Like we're all living in an extended episode of Friends or How I Met Your Mother. But spoiler alert, life isn't scripted. And friendships don't always come with commercial breaks and happy endings. So if you've ever found yourself wondering, wait, is something wrong with me because I don't have a 20-year friend group that meets for brunch every Sunday? Trust me, you're not alone. So let's dive into it. But first, hi, welcome to the Wolverine Lifestyle Podcast, where personal growth meets deep thought and introspection. I am your host, Dylan Andres, and in this episode, we're exploring my personal journey through the journal prompt, identifying external pressures. What societal expectations weigh heavily on you? How can you release the need to meet them? So let's rewind the clock just a smidgen. Growing up, I lived in a ridiculously small town, Marshall, Saskatchewan. And when I say small, I mean small. Like, if you blinked while driving by it on the highway, you'd probably miss it. It was a booming, thriving metropolis of like 500 people. Now, here's the thing about small towns. You don't just know everyone. You know what they had for breakfast. Last Tuesday, my grade 9 class, a grand total of 11 kids. That's it. And that also included the farm kids. But within that tiny group, I had something special, what felt like my own freaks and geeks squad. We were inseparable, had inside jokes, weekend sleepovers, getting into just enough trouble to make life interesting. It was everything you'd expect from a tight-knit friend group. And for a while, it felt like that was it. Like, these were my people for life. But then, high school hit. And let me tell you, high school had other plans, especially for me. Suddenly, we were all thrown into a much bigger school. And when I say much bigger, I mean overwhelmingly bigger. 2 other middle schools from the city fed into my high school. And unless you had pre-existing connections, like playing city hockey or soccer, you were just kind of there. Some of my friends adjusted quickly. They had their sports, their other connections, but for me, it felt like I just went from being a part of a tight-knit crew to being on the outside looking in. I remember walking through the halls, seeing groups already formed, inside jokes being shared, and I wasn't in on them. It was like showing up late to a party where everyone already had their dance partners. That's when the questioning started. Why can't I keep a solid core friend group like everyone else seems to be? Is there something wrong with me? Now, don't get me wrong. I did end up making friends in high school, of course, but ask me if I'm still friends with any of them today. That would be a hard no, zilch, nada. Now let's take a second to talk about something sneaky that shaped my expectations around friendships. Television. Listen, I love me a good sitcom. Friends, That 70s Show, How I Met Your Mother, all those shows drilled this idea into my head that you're supposed to have this ride or die crew forever. You'll have the same bar to go to, the same couch to lounge on, and the same circle of people to count on forever. Reality check? Life doesn't work that way. Most people's social circles shift as they grow. Friendships evolve, people move, and interests change. It's not a failure. It's just life. And yet, I still found myself wondering, why didn't I have that long-term unbreakable core friend group? Here's where the perspective shift happened. Over the years, I realized something. The problem wasn't me. The problem was the expectation I was trying to live up to and carry around in my suitcase. Friendships aren't meant to be forced. They evolve, they change, and sometimes they fade. And that's okay. Instead of focusing on who I lost, I started appreciating who I had. And let me tell you, I may not have a 20-year core squad anymore, but the friendships I do have, they are the realest and most supportive I have ever known or experienced in my entire life. It's not about keeping a big friend group forever. It's about valuing the quality of the connections in your life right now. So if you've ever felt like you're failing at friendships because you don't have this 20-year brunch crew, here's what I've learned. People come and go, and that's not a reflection of your worth. Every single relationship serves a purpose, whether it's for a season or for a lifetime. Focus on quality over quantity. A few real ones are substantially better than a dozen surface level friendships. And here's something to think about. Have you ever felt pressured to maintain friendships just because you thought you should? I encourage you to take a second and reflect on that. If you've ever felt like you're behind, like you should have more friends, like you're doing something wrong, trust me, you're not. You're evolving, and that's exactly what's supposed to happen. At the end of the day, your journey is your own, and the people meant to walk alongside you right now are the ones that matter. So stop stressing about the past, appreciate the present, and trust that the right connections will always find you, one way or another. As always, thank you for joining me for this episode of the Wolverine Lifestyle Podcast. If this episode hit home for you, share it with a friend who might need it. And if you haven't already, hit that follow button for more deep dives into the things we all think about, but don't always talk about. And if you're ready to take a step further into your own self-exploration journey, grab my free ebook, 30 Days to Know Yourself. The link will be in the show notes, along with all of the other links to the rest of my socials and resources. Until next time, remember, friendships aren't meant to last forever. It's the quality of the connections that truly counts. Let go of the pressure to maintain every bond and embrace the ones that uplift you right now.